Man, fuck Joe DiMaggio.
Yeah, all right.
This is from a book I'm working on. It takes place with these friends when they're 17, and then the first half, and then the second half takes place 10 years later. And this is from the first half. I pulled into the motel and parked the car towards the back of the lot, away from the lights and balconies of the rooms. My old car sputtered into a parking space and sounded grateful when I turned it off. "The lemon tree looks empty tonight," I said, as the four of us stepped out of the car. "I've got to piss," Henry replied, and walked casually behind a nearby dumpster. Mark stood in the parking lot, stretching. He concluded the movement, both arms reaching up towards the moon, with a satisfied growl. He was only wearing a pair of large swim trunks, and they clung to his waist, went down below his knees. He had blonde hair, and blonde hair was growing around his belly button. Winston was leaning against my car. He had recently bought and was now wearing the ugliest t-shirt I had ever seen. The shirt was a novelty, the kind of thing that silly tourists buy while on their beach vacations in Santa Barbara. It was a large white t-shirt with the frame of a sexy woman in a bikini spray-painted on the front and back. But where the woman's face logically should have been, you instead saw the face of Winston, with a mouth full of braces and his wild, eager eyes emerging from the stretched collar. He was grinning and nodding at the same time, something he often did when excited. It was only a short walk. It was only a short walk from the dark parking lot of the Lemon Tree to the flickering lights of the motel's pool and jacuzzi. My friends and I walked casually through the deserted halls past the soda and ice machines. In the courtyard, we could see steam rising off the warm water, and I spotted a lone, startled rat as it scurried across the cement patio and disappeared into a grove of palm trees. We had discovered the Lemon Tree on a weekend spent skateboarding around Winston's neighborhood. The boredom of the summer before our last year of high school had encouraged us to pioneer new territory, and we had noticed there were never many cars in the parking lot of the Lemon Tree. One night we decided to sit in the motel's jacuzzi and see if anything would happen. Over the course of an hour, the skin on the tips of our fingers slowly turned to prunes and we saw nobody. Later that same night, wrapped in worn towels and reclining on poolside lounge chairs, we decided that this run-down motel now belonged to us. Henry hopped the small locked gate bordering the pool, and the rest of us followed. The thin iron bars of the gate shook in their foundations as each of us put our uneasy weight over them. We walked in our shoes without socks along the edge of the pool that was marked every few feet with a new mosaic number, signifying increasing depth. The numbers climbed up to 6 and then stopped. Beyond the pool, in a corner halfway hidden by tropical hotel foliage, was the jacuzzi. "Oh, baby," Henry said, hugging his small frame and looking at the water. His swimsuit was from the junior section of the department store. He was a little self-conscious that there were approximately 3 hairs in his left armpit. "That's real nice," Winston remarked, observing the small oasis. "I'm so sore," Mark groaned. "These summer practices suck. That bass drum is fucking up my back. I need jet-propelled hot water." "No one said marching band was going to be easy," I told him. "It's just a preconception." Yeah, Winston agreed. "Besides, my tuba is a lot heavier than your bass drum. And think about Henry. His tuba practically weighs more than him." "You guys whisper," Henry tried to command. "Shut the fuck up," Mark said effectively. We sank into the water slowly, oohing and awing and making little hissing sounds as we plunged another body part beneath the bubbling surface of the jacuzzi. Once up to our necks, Winston revealed a smuggled pack of Swisher Sweet cigarillos from underneath his towel. He began to distribute them. Then our favorite lighter, the one we'd stolen from 7-Eleven, the one with a woman in a disappearing bikini on it, was passed around, and we sat quietly smoking. The glow from the registration desk looked small and dim in the distance. The smell of chlorine mixed with the aroma of tobacco, and the smoke from our cigarillos blended into the steam from the water, creating a sweet-smelling fog. A door from the second floor opened, and loud TV noise flowed into the courtyard. I turned around and squinted up. A man's silhouette emerged from the room and leaned over the railing. Someone was checking us out. "That guy's totally watching us," Henry said, talking very softly and looking up at the balcony. "Who cares?" Winston said. "He's just getting some fresh air." "I think he's drinking beer," I whispered. "Maybe he'll give us some," Mark hoped. "I wish Kathy was here," Winston said, already bored with the man above us. I coughed from inhaling wrong and then laughed. Kathy was Winston's crush, a pretty but short girl who played the flute and showed no interest whatsoever in Winston. Kathy managed to give her marching band uniform curves, which was not an easy feat. I always thought it was when she was all dressed up in shades of red and blue, with a foot-long artificial feather stuck in her fake Renaissance hat, that she looked the most attractive. "Her butt is out of proportion from the rest of her body," Mark said. "It looks weird." "It's pretty big, man," Henry added, addressing Winston. "No, it's perfect," Winston said, flashing his braces in a wide grin. "Anna's got a nice butt," Henry said in a tentative voice. "Anna was my girlfriend. I was the only person in the jacuzzi who had one." "Yeah, it's nice," I said, "but I don't know. I feel like she's getting a little crazy." "We could have told you that," Mark said, his miniature cigar clamped in the side of his mouth. He was slurring his words because of it. "She cries a lot." "But when she's not crying, she's really cool," Winston clarified. "Yeah, that's the thing. She didn't used to cry. It's only in the last couple of months," I said. "I'm not sure what's going on." No one said anything else about it, so I submerged under the water and pushed my back into one of the jets of the jacuzzi. The man from the balcony walked slowly down the stairs, as if he had trouble seeing. A woman now clung to his waist, and her face was hidden against his chest. When they reached the courtyard, the man burped loudly, then hopped the gate to the pool. He helped his skinny companion over, putting his hands on her hips on the way down. They came towards the jacuzzi, and each clutched a 40-ounce bottle of beer. "Hey," the man said, in a deep and almost accusatory voice. My friends and I said hey back. The man looked strong in the white tank top he was wearing. "Mind if we join you for a bit?" he asked, his voice now softening a bit. "Not at all," Mark said. So the man took off his shirt. His swim trunks hung well below the underwear he was wearing. The woman also began to undress, revealing a bright blue bathing suit, a two-piece. She smiled at us in the faint light, and we all smiled back, taking our cigarillos out of our mouths, noticing her young, smooth body and the way the faint light made it glow. "Those are some nice cigars you got there," the man said, opening a pack of cigarettes. He took one out and then passed the pack to the woman. They sat down on the edge of the jacuzzi and dipped their legs into the water. I could see they weren't a whole lot older than us, maybe in college. "You guys visiting Santa Barbara?" I asked. Mark, Henry, Winston, and I all moved closer together in order to give the couple more room. "We're on a little vacation. We came out from Florida, thinking of relocating here." "Cool," Winston said. "How about you guys?" the man asked. He put his hand on the woman's leg and moved it up and down slowly. "I live around here," Winston explained. "We're just using the jacuzzi." "Huh," the man said. He took a long drink from his beer and then poured the last drops out onto the cement. "You guys in high school?" "Yes," we all answered. "That's good. I used to do stuff like that in high school." "Shit," he drawled. "Good times." The four of us forced some laughs and agreed with him. "Hey, this is Katie," he said a second later, finally introducing the woman to us. He leaned over and kissed Katie on the mouth. We watched because we were supposed to watch. But after the kiss, everyone became quiet and didn't look at each other for a long time. I stole a glance at Katie, but then quickly shifted my gaze to the old lifesaver lying to the right of her. "Damn," the man said, rising from the jacuzzi and breaking the increasing silence. "Already gotta take a piss." He stumbled back over the gate and walked up to his room. Everyone who remained in the water was now smiling for some reason. "So how long have you and your boyfriend been together?" Mark asked Katie. She laughed at him, a little drunkenly, and kicked her feet around in the water. "Oh, about 8 months, she said. We're living together right now. We're actually engaged." "Wow," Winston said. "Congratulations." "That's crazy," I told her. Then I said sorry. She laughed again. "How old are you guys?" Mark wanted to know, stubbing his cigarillo out on the edge of the concrete. He seemed genuinely interested. Large volumes of steam were currently escaping from his big blonde and shaved head. "I'm 24, he's 25. The man was returning now, jogging down the stairs from his room. Katie turned and smiled at him as he entered the pool area, and I could tell she was beautiful. All the beer's gone, he said. Well, you drank most of it, honey, she said. Come on, give me the rest of yours. But this is only my first one. You've had 2. The man looked towards us for a brief second and then glared at Katie. Fucking give me some beer. He was standing over her. I could see him clenching his fists. Katie looked down and her hair fell in front of her face. She obediently lifted the beer up to him. He swiped it from her, drinking it in one long and ridiculous gulp before chucking it into the grove of palm trees. Mark, Henry, Winston, and I looked down into the water at our wavy bodies. So, there's lots of parties in Santa Barbara, right? The man asked, casually lowering himself back into the jacuzzi. Yeah, we said, out by Isla Vista, out by the college. I glanced at each of my friends, and we knowingly began to stand up. I'm pretty tired, Mark said, feigning a stretch. We all agreed with him and began to climb out of the water. Hope you like Santa Barbara, Winston said. Thanks, guys, the man replied. Katie didn't move, and she didn't say anything. She kept her head down, hiding her face beneath her long brown hair. We picked up our towels and hopped the fence, drying off as we walked to the car. I followed Winston, watching the bikini butt of his shirt as it drifted from side to side. We could hear the man talking loudly on our way out. What the fuck? What's your problem, huh? Fucking look at me, damn it. I pictured his fists clenching again, and before reaching the parking lot, I almost turned around. We silently settled into my car, and I began to drive out of the lemon tree. But as we neared the hallway that led to the jacuzzi, I made an immediate and frustrated decision. I applied the brakes, shifted into park, and jumped out of my car, running into the courtyard of the motel. Standing there, I felt myself shaking and yelled, Hey, you cock! Hey, you fucking cock! Be nicer to your girlfriend. I was sprinting back towards my friends. My words boomed and then echoed around me as I ran through the concrete hallway of the motel. I heard water splash from the jacuzzi, then someone's feet slapping across the ground. The man's voice now cursed me and my friends, furious. Entering the parking lot, I dove into the driver's seat and quickly accelerated, breathing heavily. My friends said, shit, go, yes, and fuck, in a variety of excited combinations. The car bottomed out as we turned onto State Street, accelerating. The front bumper hit the ground hard, and all 4 of us winced our eyes before looking behind us just to make sure. On the short ride back to Winston's, we talked about what had just happened, but in different ways. Mark was sure that if he ever saw that guy again, he would punch him in the nose. Winston thought it was strange, the kind of men that women chose to date. Henry just kept laughing. I sat there repeating myself, trying to convince someone I'm not going to end up like that. Thanks. Last but not least, our good friend Jeff Von Ward here with Mormonia.
It's 5 till 8 right now, by the way.
Oh, I have 5 minutes to read.
Sorry.
It's okay. So, actually, before we do that, we should finish the wine. Everybody should raise a glass. Thank you.